This episode of Birds and Bats is brought to you by SemoAutomall.com. Wanting to shop for cars, trucks, motorcycles, and more? Do so from the comfort of your home at SemoAutomall.com.
How are we going to introduce?
Welcome to Birds and Bats at Fox Radio Network. .com/Birds and Bats, where we just talk about Cardinals baseball and really baseball in general. Well, Steve, what do you think about this week?
I don't know.
Yeah, so we played the Pirates, and then we also played the Indians.
Yeah.
And I mean, we lost it with the Pirates, which was actually the first series that we've lost, since baseball has started. But honestly, they were just tired. I really feel like they were just exhausted.
What was it like? They played 20 games in a row, and in those 20 games, I think they lost Wainwright. So they haven't really found a starter yet, or at least haven't had a starter get healthy yet to replace Waino. And so when he should have been starting, those were the bullpen had to take over almost half of those games. So I'm sure that really wears out the pitching staff. And then
for sure.
The whole Matt Carpenter thing, he missed the Pittsburgh series, right? Because extreme fatigue, they said. So yeah,
he had to be an excuse for that. And I mean, really, if you think about it, I guess I've never taken the time to really think about it, but how many games they play in a row, and then the series between the Pirates and the Indians had one day off. I mean, okay, so it's not wrestling. It's not, it's not boxing or something like that, or football where, you're constantly being, smacked in the face for something. But, I mean, it's pretty grueling. It's a chess match every single day. Every single game is a chess match. It's all strategy. And that can really take it out of you. I
mean, and, almost, normal jobs or whatever, you have a weekend, at least, 2 days off every week, so.
Well, I mean, you need that because, people. But... you have to imagine that they have people like that too. Maybe somebody doesn't like the Bat Boy, and you need more than just one day away from that kid. That reminds me of Stillwell from League of Their Own. Gosh dang it, Stillwell!
Kid.
Right, yeah. So anyway, that's probably not why they lost the series against the Pirates.
Because of the Bat Boy. That's a good. I feel like that's a good scapegoat. We'll just blame it all on Bat Boy.
I feel like I need a dog named Stillwell now. So every time I get upset, I can just laugh about it. Stillwell, haha. All right. Anyway, so Indians, we ended up winning that series against them. So that was pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, really, this week it just felt kind of like we did worse than what we really did, because we had our first series loss, and then we had that one game against the Indians where we almost got no hit and then struck out 19 times, I think. But we still won the series, and we haven't had more than a 2-game losing streak this season.
Yeah, I just feel like it's been a lot of games, I don't know, just I'm going to say it, this last week was a little boring for games. I didn't feel sucked in like I normally do, and I feel like we're a little spoiled in that aspect. Yeah. Normally we're used to, high pressure games and, terrifying outs and all that stuff. But not this week. But really, okay, so I saw a post on Facebook, and it was one of my friends who actually lives up in Cleveland, and she was like, oh, rooting for my boys, but, we're in Cleveland, and I'm like, freaking Indians. Who are the Indians? Where the crap did you guys come from? Friggin' Cleveland? I don't know. You think, you think Tigers, you know exactly who they're with. You think St. Louis, you think Cardinals, you think, Milwaukee Brewers, they're the Brewers. You think the city, you think the team immediately. You don't think Cleveland.
Yeah. Cleveland is...
Indians.
The Indians, I guess, are kind of just the Cleveland's other team, almost, I guess you could say. They've got the Cavs that everyone's crazy about right now because LeBron's back and they're going deep into the playoffs. And then, the Browns get a lot of attention because of Johnny Football and everything. The Indians are almost like the forgotten team, I guess, of Cleveland.
I feel like they are, and I mean, anytime I started thinking, whenever we were talking about this initially, I heard Cleveland and cannot stop thinking about Space Jam now. And I don't even know why. I'm pretty sure it wasn't even in Cleveland, in, Michael
No, it had nothing to do with Cleveland.
I don't know. So that's all I can think about now. You think Cleveland, I guess you think about those, the other teams and everything, and the Indians are kind of the redheaded stepchild that does well and gets good marks in school, but, just always seems to be forgotten, at least in my brain. So, I mean, I can't even say go Indians because we won against you.
Yeah.
So.
We don't play the Indians that often, so, I mean...
Who are you, Indians? Where did you come from?
We just forgot about them, I guess.
Yeah, that happens. Well, and then the next lineup that we have against, the future teams,
this is tough.
grueling.
Yeah. We've got the Tigers coming up, the Mets, the Royals, the Dodgers. All those are really good teams so far this season. So
really good.
We're really gonna have to bring our A game the next couple of weeks.
Maybe that one whole day of rest, will get us ready for that.
And then we play what now? 16 more games in a row. So
16 games since the 12th.
Okay.
So I mean, even then, 16 games in a row. Good night. Like, ugh.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night. And then the 28th of May will be our next day off.
Yeah.
And then I think we have a day off between like the Royals and the D-backs or something. But still, I feel like a day off.
I think maybe baseball season should be shorter.
I heard that was going around, and no, I don't think it should be shorter at all. As I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, that totally sucks. No. I'm going to crack that whip because I'm a consumer and I want you to keep playing baseball.
Yeah. I mean,
I want games constantly.
I mean, the owners, they can't stand, they've been thinking about, shortening the season by 8 games, I think, which is roughly 8 games, which is 5% of the season, right? And so, 5% shorter season would mean, 5% less income. What's the right word for that? 5% less money.
Money.
But
money coming in, and I guess.
Good thing I'm not going to be a teacher or anything.
Yeah.
But,
oh, sorry.
But so they'd be losing out on a lot of money, and they might have to jack up ticket prices to make up for that.
I could see them doing that very easily. We're losing 5% of our games. That's 8 games. You don't need to jack my ticket price by $40 just because we're not going to have 8 games.
Yeah.
I could definitely see them doing that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a shorter season if we could fix maybe the wild card game in the playoffs, because I don't like that there's just one game wild card. I like having more teams in the playoffs because it makes the regular season more interesting, I think. But just one game doesn't mean anything in baseball. Any team can beat any team one game. Yeah. I think it should at least be a 2 out of 3 series, and maybe a shorter season would allow that to happen.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
I think I agree, though. That could definitely change the outcome, because one game is just kind of that one game. That one game with the Indians where we lost, but we still won the series, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think we should shorten the baseball season and as a finale.
Maybe we can just, expand the playoffs. Go into November,
Or, you know what, let's just make baseball all year round.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm down with that.
I would be totally fine with that.
Let's just make, all stadiums, indoor stadiums, and, in Texas, and, if it's nice out, we'll just roll down the roof. It'll be good. It'll be like a convertible. All things baseball convertible.
Yeah. So, there you have it. Baseball, year-round.
Space Jam.
Every day. Space Jam.
All of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let us know what you think. Obviously, a great conversation to have. But definitely let us know what you think. I mean, follow the show at foxradionetwork.com/birds and bats, or you can follow us on Twitter at Fox Radio Network, #birds and bats.
All right, we'll see you next week.